Hey y'all, it's Chloe. So I know that there's a few out there, but I really wanted to do a little walkthrough and impressions of my fairy tale Lenormand that I picked up at Fairy Worlds. I was so thrilled to find our beloved Arwen's Lenormand at Fairy Worlds. I had a feeling I was going to find something, and I did, and I was so thrilled. The tin is wonderful. It's a nice size. I was actually, there's my little mittens. That's my boy's kitty mittens. She's all taking sniffs at my water. She just almost got into a fight with raccoons outside my house. I've got deer, raccoons, birds, all kinds of birds, crows and what have you. Anyway, so this I just love. It has Lisa Hunt's artwork. Basically the border trim that you find on the cards are some of that style is mimicked on the tin in a slightly brighter tone with a little bit more reds. It looks like mixed in from my eyes. I don't know if you can see it, but yeah, it looks a little bit different in tone on the cards versus on the tin. And that can happen with colors and paper versus metal. I really think it's a well done. The thing I find so hilarious about this is how much smaller the deck is versus the tin, which really makes me feel like if you got a really lightweight bandana or fabric to wrap this in on the inside, you could totally fit it in there. I haven't found something that I really like to match the theme of the deck, and then have a wrap in there. Hey, are you patting me? She's sitting behind me, getting all comfy. Okay. So, I am just going to flip through and talk, okay? The book is adorable, for one. It is so freaking tiny. It's like the same height and everything as the deck. The deck is a really good size for if you're going to do like the Grand Trebleau or whatever. I haven't even done one of those yet because it's just so big and intimidating. I tend to like to stick to slightly smaller spreads. And in the book, they do go on about how you can learn to read the regular Lenormand system, but in the foreword, that was done by, I know the name just a minute ago. Hold on, let me find it. Nope, that's Arwen's part. Where's the other one? Sorry. La, 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 la. Donna Leila de la Rose. She has a wonderful little website called donnalay.com. I watched her videos for quite some time to get like the basic, one card meaning and memorizing what the different symbols were in the deck. It was very helpful. But I love that they have the fairy tales built in. It's kind of like how, and these are made by totally different people, of course, but the fairy tale oracle, I'm really loving that one because I can so much relate my knowledge of the fairy tales that I already have down and the ones that I'm learning to help with my meanings and things that flash when I'm reading for people. And I feel like you could do that with this deck as well as you're getting to learn it. There are some stories here that I wasn't familiar with, just like in the other Fairy Tale Oracle, although one was done by Lucy, and this is Arwen's Fairy Tale Lenormand by Arwen Lynch and Lisa Hunt. And I love Lisa Hunt's artwork. It's absolutely gorgeous. And again, this is a different room in my house. It used to be the boys' gaming room, and they've just redistributed everything up into their upper level. It's like the guys' level is upstairs, and all the lower levels kind of mine that I share with them. So I'm taking over the gaming room. Might even make it an office. I don't know. It's partially definitely our schooling room. Oops, sorry, wrong side. So the backs are gorgeous though, and reversible. It's been out for about close to a year now, so yeah. I love the house. Instead of doing one story theme with the house card, they just used like a cottage in the woods, kind of representing all the houses that you might find in many old tales. I like the tree with the little tree spirit. It's so like Lisa Hunt's more traditional works, but still really keeping the key symbol of the Lenormand in there. I really like this cloud card. They've got that light side and dark side of the card. They got all these like wind spirits. I can't remember if there was a story to this one or if this was just almost like the house card, but I really love the feel of this one. It's really cool. Here is the snake. I really like this one as well. I like the mongooses there. It's a really cool card. So, oh, and this is like Sleeping Beauty. Actually, more like Snow White when she's eaten the apple and they put her in the glass coffin so that they can admire and spend time with their beloved who is now, you know, kind of out of reach. At least until that kiss, right? Now, this story I really liked. It reminded me of a Disney cartoon I'd seen at one time. I can't really remember the story, but this totally reminded me of the Dancing Flowers. I love the little happy faces. Come on, zoom in, baby. Let's see if my camera will get to working. I love the little happy faces. Come on, stop focusing on me and focus on... There we go, finally. See those happy little faces? Such a positive card. I think that really helps tie it into the traditional meanings. Okay. All right. I'm going to try not to let it focus on my face and keep it focused on the details of the cards. It's just so gorgeous. This is the sky. I really like this one. It's about sacrifice. It's about these two people in their husband and wife relationship trade places in the story. And through that, they learn of each other's sacrifice for the greater whole of the relationship and the family. And I think that's a really great story. And I love the little spirits and tree spirits and all these little extra accents, extra creatures and beings in this picture. Such great layers of meaning and things to work with in there. And here's the whip. I like the energy that's behind that, that's around it. And this is a totally different story that I'm actually just learning. So this is going to add some cool layers. I love learning cultural myths. And the stories they teach us are really, really cool. Whoops, let's keep forgetting. I'm left-handed, so when this is all lined up for right hand, it's a little backward for me. So, yeah. I really love the story on this one too, the birds. How the one bird kind of got tricked into giving up his beautiful feathers, and that bird used it to become like one of the most important, you know, birds or whatever to speak for the animals, that kind of thing. There's more to the story, but that's just kind of what I remembered. Oh, look at all those little nature spirits in the trees. Love that. And the child is just so sweet looking. The bunnies and the little creatures all around there, ready to help. So adorable. This is another one of those where they kind of took the fox energy, like with the house. This isn't a specific story. They're just using the fox to represent a mischief maker, a trickster, someone who is not out for your best interest and is using their quick-witted mind and their intent to make things happen in the way they want or for what they think is the best good. Not necessarily in your favor. Or perhaps you are the fox being the trickster affecting others. This is the story of Snow White and Red Rose and the shape-shifted prince who will one day be freed. And the girls will be rewarded for their generosity and loyalty to their bear prince someday. It's a really good story. And here's the stars. I really like this one. I have no confusion that this is the stars card at all. There's stars all over the place. The artwork is really lovely. It's Lisa Hunt. Come on. It's gorgeous. And then the stork. I really like this, of course. But you know what? I always have such conflicted feelings about the stork because sometimes they really focus on the stork idea. Sometimes you have a stork in a chimney, and it's more about the moving house. And this one is very much about babies, with the baby in the little little cloth piece there. And the moving energy is there as well with the swirling pool and stuff. So that's a really cool combination. And it's just lovely art. I definitely feel the movement, feel what they're trying to do there. Okay, dog, the loyalty. The elephant was so distraught by losing his dog friend that he stopped eating and drinking. And when they brought him back, it's supposed to be a moment of joy when the elephant sees dog is back and he can start eating and drinking again. There's far more to the story than that, but that's like the essence of what I understood. Here is the tower, Rapunzel's tower. And I really do love the little spirit faces and things you can see down in the briar and stuff. Prickly bushes. It's really cool. The Giant's Garden. That was such a cool story to read about in the book. And I intend to research further into what the background is and everything. That story. Such an added layer to the system. And Mountain, this is blocks and obstacles. And the story that came with it was actually really interesting. A man and his 2 wives, and becomes an obstacle. Situation becomes an obstacle for all of them, or both the women. It's really cool. Come on. There we go. Finally. Sorry, my arms are getting just a little tired. How about we just go a little quicker? So, if you've seen this deck before, you know it's awesome. And if you haven't, you should consider it if you're looking for a softer palette or more details to take in. With the main symbol still being very, very prevalent. Come on, you silly. There we go. And this one's mice. Can't really go wrong with a mice card. This is heart. Honestly, do not remember the story on that one. I'm going to have to take some time to studying that. There's like a genie and a wish and a ring. It's like a commitment. The book, the journals, I love that it's a grimoire, it says. But to me, it looks like a Grimm's storybook or something. I don't know. There's a little adventure on the cover. Come on. Come on, zoom in. There we go. There's like an adventure on the cover. There we go. It's very cool. The letter. I like that the wolf's in the background. This reminds me of Red Riding Hood and her taking a basket of food or maybe messages back from her visit from I'm not sure if that was the story with this one, but something about it reminds me of Red Riding Hood, not just the wolf. And here is the tiger and the gentleman. There's 2 different gentlemen and there's 2 different women. So there's like a lord and a workman. So 2 different gentlemen. I like that. And here are 2 different ladies. So a working lady, like Cinderella, and a queen or some other royalty lady. Like that as well. And then you have lilies. I love this lily. This is actually my favorite kind of lily, is the water lily. And to have it in here is just so lovely. And I believe, come on, yeah, it is the frogs. There's a little crown on one of the frogs or the toads. So cool. And I love the lily. This is again my favorite kind. And then we have the sun. Come on. Show those little details. Yay, finally. Moving in, moving in. So gorgeous. So gorgeous. Moon. Come on. Sorry, it's having such a hard... I'm trying not to let it... There we go. If I can just keep it. The key, I really like the colors in this card. The fishes. I love the movement. I think it really holds the meaning very well. again, I like kind of the side energy and the different other stuff going on too, but she did very well with focusing on the key symbolism and still adding some other nature spirit type energy floating around in the background. And finally, the anchor. I think that was supposed to be reversed. I think it was supposed to be anchor, then the cross, but lovely cards nonetheless. Such awesome details. Love it. I really love those little creatures, like in the coral in the background. You can see the little faces and nature divas and spirits. Come on, zoom in. There we go. See them? Those little nature creatures, the mermaid in the background. This is like mermaid's treasure trove, like Marielle. And let's look at all those little cool dudes in there. And some more down here. Just a really cool card. So that's it. I'm not going to spend much more time of it. I really think it was well done. It's so lovely to finally have Arwen's Lenormand that was illustrated by Lisa Hunt in the book. I love the stories. It's really well done. The tin's gorgeous, and I don't feel any need to buy anything else except for maybe a wrap cloth so it doesn't clank around quite so much. And it was very inexpensive. I probably could have gotten it cheaper, say online or anything, but I really do love buying from booths and supporting local businesses, or, you know, those who make the effort to add to the experience at Fairy Worlds. And I'm very pleased to get it at this time. So if you are curious about it, I think it shuffles pretty well, and I really love the size. So if you're into doing like larger spreads, it's really good for that. So all right, I'll let you go. I hope you enjoyed this. Bye-bye. Oh yeah, feel free to comment, like, let me know what you think, or if you had some comments, if you have the copy and what extra